All right, good to be on your screen just right this time. I have two amazing friends, very young and relevant guys, people that are making waves in our country and beyond. And I'll be introducing to my extreme father right, Mr. Val, the set man at the Val company.
Thank you so much, sir. It's such a pleasure to be here. I've followed some of them. I'm here finally.
Wonderful. Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
And next to me is who is taller, you or myself? Latest landlord. In case you don't know him, latest landlord. If you must get a property in the East, you need to get in touch with this man. Let's meet you, my friend.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. My name is Nwafor, and as our host has rightly said, I base in the southeastern part of Nigeria. We do real estate business, so we sell genuine houses and lands, and it's been very wonderful in the recent months. It's a pleasure to be here today because there should be or there can be other people, other guests, but I'm here. So
definitely there will be other guests that will come. Yeah. But we just have to start from somewhere. Yeah. It's my pleasure.
I think I know what he's trying to say.
All right, what is it?
Couldn't have been the other guest than himself.
Wow.
As a young and relevant young man. Oh. So I get that.
Yeah. All right, let's just dive in. I believe the people, our viewers, are very, very itching to hear from us. Where are we going to start from? I will start with this question. How can you describe your growing up and how it has affected where you are today? How can you, tell us, give us a bit of a background?
Okay.
And then, yeah.
All right, I'll try to stay very concise because it's a long story. The theme of this conversation is young and relevant. I think it's very important because while I was thinking about it, I thought to myself, youth is vapor.
Wow.
And energy level diminishes with age.
Wow.
The more you grow older, the more your energy reduces. So why not try as much as you can to invest in your youthful years? And so that's so important and to talk about and to share with the youth across the world. My growing up was rough because I grew up in a community where there was no inspiration, nobody to look up to as a mentor or a role model. And I wouldn't blame them because if they knew better, they would have done better. And so they were limited by the knowledge they had and the exposures that was in existence at that time. So I saw people who played draft all day and drank, all day and let their wives go fight bread, win bread, bring bread back home. And then the husbands will now prey on the bread that was won by the wife. So these were my realities. And I thought that was how it was going to be. So I was growing up in such an environment until... And I began to see other children answer questions in class, how they were outspoken, how they were very vocal about their opinions. And I said, I can do this. But already, I had low self-esteem from the background I was coming from. Imposter syndrome, timidity, shyness, all these mental limiting beliefs were my reality. Until, sometime around 2014, that's why I don't joke with conferences and seminars just like we had earlier today. Where I heard the speaker talk about the first 5 commandments. Be fruitful, multiply, subdue, replenish, and have dominion. He said, you can be fruitful, not just in procreation, but in your mind. You can be fruitful in your ideas. I said to myself, Val, you can be fruitful. Think about the solutions you need to bring to the world and the value you have to offer to the world. And I said, I can do something. Though I was shy, though I was timid, though I had imposter syndrome, I said, there's something I can do in this place where I am to add value. And that was how I started teaching them how to succeed in their WAEC, in their JAMB. I was facing all of these limitations, but I went out of my way to organize such programs. I remember speaking to my other brother and my friend who taught mathematics, and this one taught economics. So I was watching them do these things. I was so excited until one day I had the voice that you must own your vision. And when I heard that you must own your vision, you must be at the front burner of your vision, I started learning how to speak in public. I read books, Dale Carnegie. I read Larry King's book. I started reading books by Ben Carson. These books changed my mind. I remember one, The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. Chapter 1 says, believe in yourself. I read that book and my life changed. Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It transformed my life. And let me just cut this story short. By the grace of God, I have had impact on over 500,000 young Africans across 30 African countries through my speaking engagements, radio program, TV programs, newspapers, blogs, and recently I represented Nigeria in St. Petersburg in Russia 2 weeks ago, and this is just a testament to the things that is possible regardless of your background and your growing up.
Wow. Coming from such a rough background to where you are.
Yeah.
Okay. There are lots of take homes from your conversation. Lots of take homes from your conversation. In spite of the fact that there were so much setbacks, you had this thought of helping people. How did it really affect your vision today?
Yes.
As in your vision, because I know you are committed to helping young people. That's your profession.
Yes.
So how did your vision come about?
Okay. Wow. So if you told me that today I was going to be speaking to thousands of people, I would say it's a lie. Because I just wanted to live a very quiet, peaceful, private life somewhere in Switzerland, maybe with my family. But, one thing with purpose is that it consumes you. When you have understood what God wants you to do, it just consumes you. So in that meeting in 2014, when the preacher was talking about be fruitful and multiply, and then it hits me that I need to make the next person by my side a better person, to make impact in the life of the next person by my side better than they. In fact, anything that will make them to say, thank you, Val, do it, regardless of color, regardless of language spoken, regardless of facial marks. This was the burden I had within me. I said, okay, I know there are a lot of people who growing up, they were from dysfunctional families. They had a lot of negative things that could affect their upbringing. And then I said, why not help them with your story? And that was how I started going to schools. And I left the confines of the church, my first sphere of influence, and I went to communities. I started visiting schools. And I can remember one early morning in January, I said, my goal for January is to impact 2,000 students in 1 month.
Wow.
Yeah. And so in January, I accomplished 2,000 students. So I moved from the church to students. I never knew that people were even paid to speak. I never knew that you could fly somebody. It didn't make sense to me at the time, but I was just busy pursuing all of these things until it began to expand and expand and expand. My vision is Africa's prosperity through the engagements of young people. Let me shock you.
Yeah.
In 2050, Africa's population will reach 2.5 billion. 60% of this population will be under 25 years. That is, Africa will become the youngest continent, but at the same time, I don't want Africa to be the workforce of the world, because the Chinese are watching, Lebanese are watching, America is watching, UK is watching. So why not harness the potentials of these people in leadership, in entrepreneurship, in education and employment, so that when they deploy it, will achieve what is called personal sovereignty, personal prosperity, which will now lead to corporate prosperity. That's what I'm committed to doing.
Amazing.
That's lovely. That's lovely. I'll get to you, but just let me quiz him a little bit.
Yeah.
How much support did you get from your family?
Oh, okay. So this table, I'll be careful, but I'm going to break it a little. Like I always say, you can never grow beyond the boundaries of your knowledge. People act the way they act because of how much knowledge they are exposed to. The young man out there who is fighting on the street, who is smoking on the street right now, is doing that because he only knows to that extent. If he knew that his lungs and kidneys is affected in the process, I believe he will stop. So people act based on the knowledge they have. The restrictions I had I said that was based on the knowledge parents had. So, okay, go to school, get employment, bring money back home, and I didn't want to live a normal life because everybody could do that. Get married, have kids. Life is about impact because when our days on earth are over, nobody will talk about your wealth. Sadly, nobody will talk about the number of cars you had, the mansions. It's about what did he do? What impact did he create? And yes, that was what I saw. And I started moving at a young age. So they were like, what are you doing? You're using your money, your little salary to buy refreshment. What is it? What is that? Fast forward. When I was on AIT one morning, I was speaking to a national issue. We are talking about leadership capital development. I didn't know my dad was watching from Jaws. I was in Abuja at the studio. When I was done with my interview, he sent me a text. He was like, son, when will you sharpen me? Because then it was top notch. The knowledge delivered was amazing. People commended, on that interview. And he said, when will you sharpen me? That is a testament to, Vance, to cap it up, representing Nigeria in a foreign land and, going out to do so a meaningful representation.
Okay. One more question before I go to latest landlord. Latest landlord, I hope you're warming up for me. Now, how many years actually break through? Because there must be a breakthrough.
Okay, well, I'm on the journey. Okay. Because I believe that
the first phase of your harvest.
Yes. All right. So I started in 2014. Things became better from 2021.
Okay.
Yes. So let's say a period of this makes it 10 years. This year makes it 10 years. So a period of about 4 years back, 5 years back, I started seeing the light. People started noticing what I was doing and started throwing invites and, having me join their conversations. I've been to places and platforms. Yeah.
So 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years.
Counting.
Yes, 10 years.
That's lovely. That's lovely. So if they should take away 10 years from your age today, then they will understand that you are the perfect person for this.
Absolutely, I'm a young man.
Yeah.
Young
okay.
Man.
I choose to answer. Yeah. So the same question that I threw at him, that you describe your growing up and how it affected what you are doing today.
Okay, thank you so much. Growing up was not easy. Just as my brother said, Nwafor said, growing up was not easy. And some of the things I'll be saying will be part of it should just taking. There were important decisions they did not take because of their level of exposure. For instance, the kinds of places we grew up in. It's now that I now understand that it's not all about money. Is not someone that has knowledge and doesn't have money, and someone that has knowledge and doesn't have money is not the same thing. Like, what I mean is, if two people have money but one of them don't have knowledge, the person that have knowledge with money will make better decisions than the other person. The same thing happens to two poor people. If you see two poor people and this one has some level of knowledge and enlightenment, this other person will take some better decisions than the other person. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would say affected our growing up, because our parents didn't understand the impact of environment. So they say anywhere we can live. So the places we grew up in were not encouraging. Cultism was the order of the day. In fact, it was the grace of God. It's now that I know that it was the special grace of God that didn't allow me or any of my siblings to become cultists. Because today, as I'm talking to you today, I can boldly say 95% of the people I grew up with, many of them joined cultism at a young age. As I'm talking to you now, some of them are dead at a very young age. In fact, the other time I went back to that area, I met one of them, and the guy was asking me, you look different. Where did you come from? I've not been seeing you for a long time. I say, yes, I'm no more in this area. I'm not in Lagos. That was when I met him. He was now saying, okay, I started asking him, what about this person, this person, this person? Sir, to my shock, some of those people, young boys, were dead. What killed them? Some of them went to rob. These were the people we were growing up. We were playing football in the same field, in the same neighborhood. But because of, I don't know, maybe luck ran out on them or something like that, they were negatively influenced. And those things made things not to turn out well. Well, there are some few of us in that same environment that were able to come out to become useful. And one of the reasons I think that helped us was the Christian upbringing. Although at that time, we were not taking it serious because we didn't understand how other people in the evening time, this part of the street, all the married men are drinking their beer. This part of the street, the married women, the mothers, they are engaging in conversations that were not fruitful, and only our parents were inside the house. And they'll be telling us, don't go here, don't go here. Bible say this, Bible say that. So we were not understanding it as children, because other children are out there, other parents are out there. Why are you now trying to restrict us and all that? We didn't know that was helping us and shielding us from a lot of evils, societal evils. So at the end of the day, although the poverty was not a funny stuff, poverty is not shy. Success is shy, but poverty is bold. Poverty will slap the hell out of anybody. It doesn't care your height, your age, your color. It's going to mess you up. So poverty made me to understand that, look, if we continue like this, we are going to repeat what happened to our parents. Just as I said earlier, my parents didn't go to school. I don't blame them so much, because in their time, going to school was not supported.
It was a luxury.
Yes. In fact, it was people that were hated that were sent to school. So people that were not hated, they bring you to the farm work and all that. So I now begin to reason and say, I need to make sure that I go to school. I need to make sure. I almost dropped out from school. In fact, I have made the decision to drop out from school. God bless Mr. Wisdom. His name is Mr. Wisdom Asota. He was a core member in Ebonyi then. I have made the decision not to go, because this idea of school na scam was also in vogue then among that our community of the poor. We were not hearing it in the community of the rich people, but among us in that neighborhood of poverty, everybody living in one room. So this go do. Teachers know they teach anything. Make we forget all those things. So the thing was entering my ear, and at a point I started to find reason with it, because everybody was speaking that language. Yeah. Many of them have dropped out already. Many of them dropped out already when they were saying that. And they were already making some small money. They were going to this place, they offload beer. They have this depot. So those boys, they were making money then, and they say, guy, you people are wasting time. That school, what is school? So the thing entered. I didn't know when I took that decision, and the thing entered my head. I said, I will not go to school again. Then that young man saw me and said, are you not supposed to be in school? What are you doing? I said, no, I'm planning to go to Lagos. I have one or two people I've already spoken. You know, when a young person is talking out of points, a man of experience, when he's looking at you, you know that this person is about to lose. So when he looked at me, he told me there is nobody in Lagos. There is nobody I'm going to meet. That why am I not in school now? I just told him, man, no money to pay school fees. Nothing. My parents cannot afford it anymore. And truly, they couldn't afford it at that time. So he now told me, if that is the reason, that is going to help me to go back to school. And immediately, this guy told me that he's going to take part of his salary to support me at that point. It was like a movie. How can a core member I've not met before? He has not seen me before. Just that he saw me in the church. We were attending the same church then. So he saw that, okay, he was no more seeing me and all that. So how can he come? I don't challenge myself. I say, allowance that was meager then to say, you must go back to school. Why will I not go to school? That gave me another motivation, and I went back to school. Yes, and when I went back to school, funny enough, this was in second year that this was happening. When I now went back to school, I told myself that another person will not believe in me more than I believe in myself.
That's right.
Then I studied agriculture. We do a lot of practicals. And I told myself, what can I do to start making money in this school? Almost all the senior students, final year students, their projects, you must do farm work. Many of them, they were big boys, came from some nice families. They cannot do it. I told them, look, give me this thing, I will do it for you. I started cultivating for senior students. Like, I go to their plots, I cultivate in science, you use the dimensions. It's not just cultivating anyhow. It was a lot, but I was earning some money from there. I was happy. Then, even my classmates, there were some of them that, not everybody still value this issue of doing assignment or doing things by yourself. So I was telling them, okay, if you want copy notes, 100 naira. I think I've been enterprising for a long time. If you want to do drawing, I know how to draw. All these diagrams, all these biology diagrams and all that. 200 naira. I said, is it not 200? They were giving it to me. And I was earning some money from there. So why? Because although I made the decision to go to school earlier and I forgot halfway, but I think when this Mr. Wisdom
motivated you,
that decision I made earlier now kicked in again. And I think one of the things that have helped me so much in this life is that I finished that school. And funny enough, when I came back in that second year, I said nobody will beat me. Nobody will score better than me. That if the thing I will achieve in life is that I graduated with a good certificate, let me start from there. And by the grace of God, I was the best graduating student in my department. Me, myself, did not believe it. When our exam officer called me and said, Israel, Israel, Israel. I said, sir, did I fail any course? I know I did not fail any course. So why are you calling me like this? He said, you were the best in the department. At that moment, I was surprised. Although I had this mindset of, because I started studying like a madman. One day, I studied for 7 hours. I didn't stand up from that chair. I sat down there and studied for 7 hours. Because I told myself, let me achieve this thing. Let me achieve one thing. Let me achieve one thing. There was nothing working in the family. There was nobody, the education, we didn't have education. We didn't have money. We didn't have connection. My parents didn't have people in the society. So I said, if this thing is the only thing I will get, let me try to get it. And I remember my dad, when I was going for that school, he told me, I don't want you to do my practice. It is better you know your level. It's better for you to study and write exam and know your level of knowledge also than you go and do expo. You don't know your level. You go and be doing my practice. You don't know your ability. And I thank God for that advice. So the another factor that also helped me while coming up, I've said education. Another factor was hunger. I want to say that hunger is a good thing. That is hungry. Not hunger for success now.
To eat food.
To eat food. Recently I begin to understand that hunger is good in a way. Because I was asking myself, there was a day I was in school, I didn't eat from morning till 9 p.m. I asked myself a question. I said, are you ready to live like this for the rest of your life?
Man, you have so much experience. Okay, I'll still come back to you. Okay. You have so much experience.
Yeah.
And I think there are some take-homes from your experience. You know, a lot of people give up very easily, either because their parents are not able to pay their fees or whatever. So, like people listening to us now, you're about dropping out from school because of your family background. I think the story of Israel should be a motivator. At least he found a way around it. He started with what he has. He had energy, he had the time, and then he began to work for his schoolmates and then his classmates also, right?
Yeah, yeah,
classmates.
Of course.
And that went a long way. A long way. The young man that promised to support you, how long did the person support you?
No, it's just that once.
Just once.
The money he actually gave me was either 8,000 naira or 18,000.
No, just once. So
yeah,
it's just to make
money.
it clear.
Yeah.
Just once.
Yeah.
So it means that it is determination that will always decide success. Determination, decision, these are the ingredients that will lead to success. No matter, somebody shouldn't fail because your parents failed. You failed because you wanted to fail. And from your story also, Mr. Var, if it would have been because of your family background, you would have also failed. Yes. So people that failed, you don't put the blame on others.
Yes.
Because if you want to pin it on others, you'll find 100 reasons and more to pin it on others. There's no money in the house, at least from the area where you're coming from, that hunger is good. A friend of mine, he told me one of the days that one of the pleasures or one of the luxuries of having stomach is that if you are hungry, stomach will tell you. Stomach will tell you. Had it been there was no stomach, that people will be lazy. So if you become too lazy,
that hits differently.
If you become, you understand, when the more you don't have need for food, people will just be lazy. But thank God for stomach. If you choose to be lazy, at one point you have stomach ache, and then that stomach ache will not be cured by any analgesics but food, and then the need for food will make you to think outside the box. Wonderful. Quite an experience. An experience. Okay, I'll go back to you, Mr. Val.
Right.
How can you handle the issues of inferiority complex as a youth? How can people? Because let me learn.
Okay.
A lot of people have gone into this thing they call Yahoo, scams, rituals, stealing. People have gone into stealing. People have gone into what do they call prostitution?
Yeah.
All of these as a result of pressure.
Yes.
Pressure. So, how can somebody handle the issue of inferiority complex as a youth?
Yes. Wow, this question is very important, and I love it so much. And please permit me to come from a religious point of view, and as a believer and person of faith, I'll come from a religious point of view. Yeah. I've said it across various platforms. Nobody was born empty. That's number one. Nobody was born for an experiment. That's number two. Nobody was born by accident. Even if you were born out of wedlock, there was still an intention behind your birth. Because I've tried to explain it. Think about it. It takes 9 months for a full-grown baby to form and then be delivered into the world. Yes, it happened by accident. But the baby, look at the formation, the development from fetus to a full-grown baby, how the food passes from the mother through an umbilical cord to the baby, how the eyes formed. All those intelligences were put there by God. So nobody was born by accident, even if the circumstances surrounding your birth was unpleasant. That's one thing we should know. Second of all, everything that is in existence, God spoke them into reality. But when it came to yourself, you and I, there was a conference call, a meeting, that somebody important is going to represent us in the world. And so he said, let there be. But now it was time for Israel to be created, and it is now let us to show that this person is so important and valuable. You must understand this, that you are valuable and you are an extension of everything God represents. Intelligence, beauty, handsomeness, creativity, you are an extension of all those realities of God. So why should you look down on yourself when you are like an ambassador representing God from heaven here on earth? Secondly, Matthew 5 from verse 13 to 16, which is my favorite verses of the scripture, says, you are the light of the world and the salt of the earth, assets of inestimable value. I don't care how much you spent buying your ingredients of your soup. Without salt, nobody will eat that food. That is who you are. Salt. It means that anywhere you find yourself, you should add sweetness. Anywhere you find yourself, you add sweetness. You are the light. If this light goes off, we'll begin to grope. And chances are you may stumble and fall. So you are light. If you appear, people see direction. People are able to see destination. People are able to see clarity because you exist. So because you exist, people can see. Because you exist, people can taste something pleasant.
Wow.
That's what I want people to understand. So stop looking down on yourself. Yes, your background, yes, but it doesn't make you to keep your back on the ground. If you fall, you rise and keep going. Something I will say, if I wrap up my thoughts, Abraham Lincoln said something that I do not care who my grandfather was, I only care what his grandson will become. So if his grandfather was a truck pusher, I don't care about that. If he was poor, I don't care. What I really care about is who this man called Abraham Lincoln will become.
Valukafa in this case.
So that's the thinking. That's the mindset and perception I want people to have about themselves. If you're not in the world is incomplete. God did not create you because he was less busy. He created you because there was something intentional and deliberate he wants you to fulfill in this world. And until you realize that, you will allow the opinions of other people to weigh you down. You allow the circumstances that you find yourself in to dictate how your life will be.
Wow.
That's lovely. That's lovely. Okay. To our viewers, please keep your questions coming. We will be willing to attend to your question as long as time permits us. So, Mr. Israel, I will pose the same question back to you. How can you handle the issues of inferiority complex as a youth? How can you handle the issue of inferiority complex as a youth?
All right. I think I will use myself as an example. One of the challenges of majority of human beings is this issue, this inferiority complex. And most of there are brands, there are many brands in this world that are making billions per month from the inferiority complexes of human beings. So a brand will come out and tell you that as a lady, you are not beautiful. You have been beautiful since your parents tell you, my princess, this and that. You look yourself at the mirror, you are very fine. But you start seeing something online, or somebody come to your school or to your shop or anywhere you are, and start telling you that you are not beautiful. That beauty you had, it has disappeared. And the reason you are not beautiful is because you are not wearing this wig, or you are not putting this particular earring, or you are not using this particular type of phone. And because they use some persuasion tactics, you see somebody that was happy before, the person was content with his life or with her life. The person begin to have sleepless nights because she doesn't have that wig. And why doesn't she have that wig? She doesn't have the money yet. But you realize that these brands, or like I tell my mentees, I call them tax masters, right? These tax masters know this. And so they create this story that you are not good enough. without their brand or without their product. And I mean things that you don't need, though. You don't need those ones. If
Things
that
you
they are
can do without.
Yes, if that it is water we are talking about or food, it will be different. But these are things that you will live your life perfectly without them. And you will see people go to kill in business. They will do one evil or the other just to satisfy that inferiority they feel. But shocking enough, it doesn't get satisfied. It doesn't get satisfied because the person that bought iPhone 15 and was bragging to everybody,
16 is out.
He is already mounting pressure on himself
To get 16.
How to get 16.
And to pre-order 17.
And these guys know that is why they are producing it.
Okay.
So, inferiority complex is a cancer that if anybody doesn't kill it, that person can never tap into his potential. It's not possible.
Absolutely.
Because you are going to jump the process. You will jump your growth. Someone said, we don't blow, we grow. Because any success you attain by growth, you cannot lose it. That is why Donald Trump, is it Donald Trump or Grant Cardone, said that if you take away all the money he has now, take all his connections, take everything he has, take his name, take his bank account, take everything and leave him alone, put him in a city, in a fresh city, give him 3 years. He's going to come back to that level he was. Why? He has grown. First of all, he believes in himself. First of all, he believes in himself that he has the ability to achieve something in life. So, inferiority complex, just as Mr. Val said, the simplest way I use to explain to people not to feel inferior is that out of the billions of sperm cells that were released to your mother's womb, you were the one that was fast enough. You were the fastest. So you started winning before you were born. You were a winner already before you were born. Because only one sperm cell will be fertilized. And the others will die off. And you were the only one that won that journey. So you have already won before you were born. So why should you now come out and now begin to feel bad about, yes, the issue of bad environment is there. When you grow up in a family where you were bombarded with a lot of gaseous and dangerous information. They are telling you that in this family, nobody will not get money here. You ask your parents, Daddy, I need that shirt. They tell you, did you give me money to keep for you? And from a young age, the nurses that welcomed you to this world have started slapping you and telling you that you will not keep quiet. A child that was a year born. Like you will be feeling this pressure and punishment from when you were born. And then the issue of scarcity is affecting your mind. The issue of you cannot achieve is affecting your mind. The classmates you have, the only thing they see about you are the things you are not getting right.
Yeah.
Sir, there is a young lady that, one of my clients actually, this lady doesn't smile in her pictures. I went through her pictures. She doesn't smile. So one of the days I just chatted her up. Nne, why is it that you don't smile? You should be smiling. She said, no, if I smile, I will not be beautiful. In fact, it's not one person, two ladies. If I smile, I will not look beautiful. I said, what are you talking about? She said, I will not understand. I now remember that most of the things we struggle with as adults when it comes to self-esteem issues started from when we were little. And I asked her, was there a time in your primary school or secondary school that people were yabbing you that if you smile, you look like a monkey? She didn't reply me.
I think I get your point.
Yeah.
Let me just drive your
Okay.
point home.
Okay.
Summarily, from what you're saying, I think I also believe in that school of thought that inferiority complex is a concept that people make you to believe, even when they are not real.
Yeah.
So I think the simplest way out of it is for you to debrief yourself of those concepts and to believe something different. To believe that you are good. Believe that you're a champion. Believe that you're a winner. And then run with that. Run with that. I think that is where you're going.
The final thing is, when I told her that thing they told her was a lie.
Okay.
That she should, I told her to send me a picture. Let me post it.
Okay.
From that time, she has been posting. The only pictures she posts now are the pictures where she's smiling.
Imagine. So if the opinion we hold about ourselves is the one people throw to us, definitely we will not live a satisfied life. We will live a life that is miserable. Now, Mr. Val, let me ask this question. Okay, how can somebody find relevance in this world that is full of competition? You know, we've talked about inferiority complex. Now, how can somebody find relevance in this world that is filled with competition?
Okay, so remember my last thoughts. I talked about the relevance of everybody through the talents that you have. As I said, that nobody was born empty. That means that we all came to this world with a gift, which we call talent. Talent is an endowment. Talent is a packaged solution God put on the inside of you to come and solve a problem in the world with. God, who did that, already knew that the world would be filled with people who have similar solutions like you have. But there's something unique about you. If it's not Israel, it can never be Israel. There's a uniqueness Israel comes to the world with. There's a uniqueness I come to the world with. That's what you need to understand, first of all. So what can I do in terms of your capacity and your talent and your skills? And then what makes me unique from every other person? Then you understand that. You know that you are relevant in this particular field. You know that you're relevant in this particular industry, in this particular niche. That will make you not to see others as a competition. You own it. You own it. You are the competition. It's just you between who you are at the moment and who you could be. So the competition is not between me and Israel. It's between who Val is currently and who he could be in the next 10 years. That's what makes people start. There's something called strategic envy. This guy just traveled abroad. And I begin to ask myself, Israel has gone abroad. Why can't I go abroad? You begin to, it affects you. When you see him,
if he can.
When you see him, you begin to feel, are you the only one? Now what for you? Is he the only one? You may be saying these things in your mind. Is he the only one and all? But when you don't compete and that thing happens with him, you, of course, shower praises, congratulate him, you're happy for him, and then you tell yourself, my time will come.
My time will come.
My time will come. Like the elephant and the dog. My time will come. Yeah. So you are relevant. Whatever it is that you're doing, you can do it because you exist. It's only you that can bring such uniqueness to that thing you're doing. Well, I can only advise you to keep improving on it. Keep improving on it. Make sure that you're delivering it with top-notch excellence, and the world will celebrate you.
Beautiful. All right. I think you have. What's your view about what you just said now?
Okay. Yeah. I will say three things. Three things that will make you relevant in this generation. Number one, people. Number two, knowledge. Number three, energy or consistency or enthusiasm or passion in that one point. Now, when I said people, I was doing a study. I like study, I like reading, and let me just say this, books changed my life. reading books changed my life. And meeting the right people changed my life too. One of the things that helped me to begin to understand how this world works, the laws of demand and supply, the laws of cause and effect, was when I picked a book written by successful people and read that book. I began to understand that where I am is like a dot in an ocean. And I think that is important for people of this generation, because the greatest challenge I think young people have today is distraction. In the time of our parents, why? So there's this argument I started with some of my intellectual colleagues. I said, do you know that our parents achieved more than us when it comes to focus? When it comes to... Because how can you explain to me how they were able to train 8 people in the university with akara business? These guys didn't study Hopkins or Charlie Munger or Warren Buffett. They don't know those guys. But they were able to maintain focus to be able to achieve some important things in life. Why? They were not distracted, or they had a way of not getting distracted. And that is where the social media of a thing comes in. There was not much social media in their time. So nobody had time to go and check what Mr. A has achieved on Facebook or what Mr. B has achieved on Instagram. Everybody was focused on his farm work. Everybody was focused on how will child A, child B, child C go to school or learn trade or all those things. And that, I think one of the things that we need in this time is focus. Focus is getting more costlier by the day because there is a barrage of opinions, a compendium of different school of thoughts. Everybody is on social, everybody is on podcast. There's no kind of podcast that is not online today. And today, sensible people that graduated from school are arguing that if you marry a poor man, he shouldn't eat food. And if you marry a poor woman, she should be a slave. That is not a conversation in Elon Musk 2024. All right? And even in our religious centers, some of the conversations we have there, we should upgrade those conversations. Because if you look at the ministry of Jesus Christ too, let me just digress a little to the religion aspect. Sure. Jesus Christ was the Son of God. Jesus Christ was God. But Jesus Christ had a secretary. Before Jesus Christ will execute any agenda, he will plan about it. There was planning. He will send Peter, go to this place. You will meet so man. You should arrange. So you see that there are some kind of conversations that we should be having that will increase the focus of the young people or the people around us. Now, when I said books, knowledge, people, and places, there's something our host here used to say in his videos. He used to say, people will show you what they want to show you.
What they want you to see.
What they want you to see. But you are going to see what you seek after. Man, that line really transformed my life, sir. And if you are on this channel, go and watch the previous videos. You're going to see a lot of wisdom from there. Sir, I now realize that anybody that wants to be a billionaire in this generation will still be a billionaire. Anybody that wants to have a good marriage in this generation will have a good marriage.
Absolutely.
Why? You will get what you seek after.
You seek and you shall find.
You get what you seek after. Just hold it there. Just hold it there. I want to direct this question. You know, you just came into the area of social media.
Okay.
At what point, Mr. Val,
Yes.
this question is directed
Sure.
to you. At what point do we consider social media as a distraction? At what point?
Okay. So, social media will be seen as a major distraction when you become unproductive with it. When it interferes with your life's plan, your life's goal, your life's vision. When it cut short your focus, right? So I'm supposed to read a chapter of a book, but I am flipping through content on Facebook for more than 5 hours, and I've not even read my book. I've not even done something that will improve the quality of my life. Social media becomes a distraction.
Social media
Moving
becomes
from
a
skits to skits, from post to post, from pictures to pictures, and killing productive time. So let me drop this.
No, we're
Bombshell. I've shared it across various platforms. Time is life, and life is time.
Yeah.
If you waste your own time, you're committing suicide. If you waste another person's time, you're committing murder. It is that important. And so many persons have already died while pressing their phones.
Time, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Time, that is beautiful. You know, some people say, I just did do this thing, make I dey kill time.
Yeah.
You are committing suicide.
Chai.
You are killing time.
Take
Time
the
doesn't
mortuary.
die. Time is immortal. You don't kill time. You are just committing suicide.
Absolutely.
There was a particular person that, a particular minister that came on social media.
Yeah.
They call him a controversial person. And this conversation seemed to be controversial. At some point, I will reason alongside with him. Not that I agree totally. There was this conversation that they were talking about somebody that committed suicide, will the person go to hell? He said if the person will go to hell, that there are several things that we do that is gradual suicide. That if that person that took his own life immediately goes to hell, then everybody that did their own slowly will also go to hell. So that's another conversation
Very
for another
logical.
day. So the man that went and took rat poison and died has committed suicide. An individual that is also destroying himself by killing time. Where that person is going is where he will go. So if somebody chooses to live a lifestyle that is not productive, if I am God, you will not near heaven. But I am not God. Do you understand?
Yes.
If I am God, you will not near heaven. Do you know why I say so? There was a point when Jesus approached a particular tree expecting to get fruit. He didn't see. What happened? He said it's better you die than being unproductive. He said nobody will eat from you after today. And they cursed that tree. The moment they came back, they saw that the tree died. My take home is that there's something that is worse than death.
Chai.
That is, it's better for you to die than to be alive and become unproductive. So while you stay on the social media, killing yourself in the name of killing time, the Lord is not happy with
On your way to the mortuary. On your way to the mortuary.
the
On
Lord
your way
is
to the
not happy.
mortuary.
The Lord is not happy. He's not happy with you. The Lord is not happy with you. All right. Okay. A quick one because how time flies in productive conversation.
Yes.
How time flies in productive conversation. You know, everything about my channel or my podcast is total around success.
Yeah.
And sometimes people call me your compass to financial freedom. What is your take on the concept of financial freedom? Is it a scam? Is it a reality? Or what do you think?
I think it's what everybody should look forward to. One of the best things that can happen to any man is to achieve time freedom. When I'm able to still travel the world and do what I need to do without necessarily appearing every day at my workplace and stressing myself. And, you know, this world is too big to explore. What time will you explore the world? So you need to be able to achieve time freedom And what will help you to achieve time freedom is financial freedom. If you have achieved financial freedom, you will have the time to explore the world. You have the time to take care of your children the way you want. You have the time to engage with other stakeholders, other business people the way you want. You travel the world. Let me just mention one of my role models, Tony Lumelu, from this country to another country, engaging with stakeholders and partners. He has made the money. It is not scam. It's something you should look forward to achieving so that you can even have the time to train either your children and to explore the world.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Latest landlord. Okay, I'm going to direct this question at you.
Okay.
Briefly, I've been teaching a series, I've been doing that on my podcast. It's my lifetime. Making money is my lifestyle.
Yeah.
Making money is my lifestyle. I make money for fun. Okay? And it is a product of planning. Okay? And investing, saving. So if somebody should ask you, what do you think? What's your view about financial freedom? And what do you think is, let's say, step A, B, C, D to financial freedom? I know it's a process, okay? It's a journey.
Yeah.
And if you don't anticipate for a journey, there's no way you get to that destination, right? So what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think everybody deserves financial freedom. When we were talking about inferiority complex, there are people that don't believe that they should own 100 million. If you mention that kind of money where they are, you are their enemy. Okay, should we go and do ritual? That is the first thing that will come to their mind. Because that's how they have been trained. In fact, let me confess, there was a time I was thinking like that.
So if anybody makes money, that person must be a ritualist, must be either a thief or a politician.
There is something that is not clear in the equation. I may not be able to point out what is not clear, but clear. And it was because of how I was trained. I was trained in an environment where, you see something like all those people that have money. You see all those people that have money, be careful with them. Be careful with them. Then I keep mentioning some of our religious teachers, not all, and some messages from our religious centers. And this is not only one religion. It cuts across. I have friends that are in different religions, even atheists self. And you see that in some of the teachings, you hear things like it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of the needle than for a rich man to go to heaven. And you hear the story of Lazarus, the poor Lazarus and the rich man. And they will hammer it on you. And as children, we were being, that picture was being painted that, look, if you are talking about becoming rich or becoming financially free, you are going to hell.
Let me see. Those people just they thought out of context. Okay, it's out of context. In fact, we are told that the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money. Nothing is bad and nothing is good. It is our thoughts that make them whatever they are. So the love for money could be the root of all evil, right?
Yeah.
But the lack of it
is the forest of all evils.
So, because most of the people that go into prostitution, many a times, is because of the lack, not necessarily the love. It's because of the lack.
Of course.
Not necessarily the love for money. You see an individual that has a child. I know a particular person. I know an individual. He's a fantastic person. He was having fun that belongs to a particular set of people. But he had an urgent need, something that was very, 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 very important for him to handle. And then the shame he had to put his hand to solve that problem. I got a wind of what happened. We canceled him, right? And then you see what pushed him to doing that was because of the lack. In fact, I've often said this thing that you can manage to live life without money as a young person. But as you are growing older, it becomes much more difficult. It's easier to manage poverty when you are young.
I'm single.
Yes. But as you are growing older, it is not easy. So it is, in fact, it is compulsory that everybody should plan for their later age.
Yes.
Yeah, later years. Some people are banking on their children as their insurance policy. You understand? Banking on their children as insurance policy. That's not a good policy.
Yeah.
Plan your life. In fact, Bible instructs us. The instruction I like is that it says a good man will leave an inheritance for his children and his children's children.
Wow.
So that will be that's just the truth of it. You want to say something?
Yeah.
You're free.
I want to also say that money is not scarce.
Okay.
Money is in abundance. When I collided with a body of knowledge that spoke about money, back to that line that you always use, sir, whatever you seek for, you are going to find it. I asked myself a question one day, and the question was, why are some people rich and some people poor in the same city? Why are some people rich and some people poor in the same church? Why are some people rich and some people poor in the same, like everybody has the same circumstances, the same challenges.
In the same house, in the same home.
But some people are rich there. In fact, I had to start researching the poorest countries in the world. Answer, to my shock, we have billionaires in dollars there. In dollars, so in that same country, in I don't want to mention those countries' name, right? But you now realize that there are principles that anybody that
you don't need to be a soothsayer. Nigeria is one now. This is the headquarters of poverty.
Of
So you don't need a soothsayer to know that one.
Yeah. So there are principles that can help us acquire financial freedom, and one of those principles is value creation. Money is a value, and solution to a problem is a value. If anybody can create a solution to a problem, he is going to receive money for that solution. For instance, I realized that I was doing real estate in Lagos. I started real estate in Lagos. But the people that were asking me questions were asking me for property in the southeast. Because majority of my audience are people from that side. If I receive 10 calls, 9 will say, we want property in the southeast. I now ask myself, these people have this problem. And as of then, I didn't have the solution because I was staying in Lagos. And I say, what if I go there and provide that solution? And guess what? When I moved down there, I started seeing some money.
Wow.
All right? Because those people were, I was now providing
value.
that solution to their problems. Right? So I think the more problems we have, the more opportunities to make money we have.
Definitely.
Right.
So let me cut you in. So money is a means of exchange for value, right? So if you give value to somebody, definitely you are qualified to have his money. Then the quality of service or the quality of value you give determines the quantity of money you get. And the class of the quality you give. And the quantity of the people you also supply those services also determines the same. Okay, I will come to you because I know you're into capacity development, especially on the youth. But there's this conversation. The other day I checked on the internet. I think I'm trying to run. Somebody asked the question. He said, how do I live a productive life? So while we're answering this question now, I want to throw this. I checked on the internet the countries that praise the most and their financial status globally. To my shock, Nigeria is ranking number 2. The second country that prays the most, and we're the poverty capital of the world. You know number 1? Number 1 is
Afghanistan. Afghanistan.
Afghan is number 1 that prays the most. The prays the most, the poorest.
Yeah.
The one that prays the least is China. We want to use it to answer this question because a lot of people could be in one place, busy, but they are not productive.
Absolutely. You know, I'm laughing. I love this question so much because the being you are praying to walked 6 days and rested for 1 day.
Hey, what?
Nothing is wrong with prayer. But what is wrong with the people is, shifting responsibility to God. Let me ask this question. If you enter a plane and the pilot says, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Captain, let's say Captain Val. Okay. This is my first time of flying this Boeing 737. I have prayed and fasted, and I am sure
the Lord will take
that
us to
God will take us to our destination." GOs on that plane. General overseers of churches on that plane will come down, but this person just professed faith. If you don't have you see, it cannot be impacted. Get trained.
Get trained.
So if you want to become productive, look at the areas of your life that needs training. Get trained. Get the required training. It will not be, you don't wield the capacity of a man by just laying hands.
On that point, I want you to talk briefly about your programs. Yeah,
okay.
Because
beautiful.
you do a lot of
I do
training.
a lot of programs.
So, so if you want to become productive,
please
go and develop skills.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
They say they don't pay you for they pay you because of your skill. Yeah, you are paid because of your skill.
Yes.
I read computer science, but I'm paid for what I can do
absolutely.
today. So talk about your programs and then how people can reach you.
So if you want to be part of my community of people who are productive,
I'm a graduate.
I'm alumni. You can join my mentoring program. You can join my mentoring program, the one called Next Level Conversation. This is where we talk about personal development and leadership development. You can be a part of that. You can join my public speaking training, where I train people how to communicate excellently, communicate with poise, communicate efficiently. It's called Mastering the Podium. So if you want to learn how to speak eloquently anywhere in the world and make your points clear in a way that is irresistible, I'm the right person for you. So just search me online, Valo Nwafor. You see me on Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Instagram, everywhere as Valo Nwafor. And let's continue this conversation.
Beautiful. I'll come over to you, latest landlord.
Thank you.
Somebody asked.
Just
you're
something about what he just said.
Yeah.
I never believed. I knew that I would share a stage with him one day.
Oh.
But I never knew it to be this
So
fast, right?
Wow.
Because the first time I met this person, he didn't know I would say this, but I'm just trying to encourage people out there. The first time I met this man was in 2019 when he came to my city then in Ebonyi to speak. And this guy was speaking things about personal leadership, how you can lead yourself into success. What he was saying, at a point, my mind zoned out from what he was teaching to how old is he? How was he able to acquire such information and to have the ability to present it to a crowd to the extent that he was invited from Jos. He was staying in Jos then to Ebonyi. And that blew my mind. I couldn't understand how a young person like me had all that kind of knowledge. And immediately he came down from that podium. I walked up to him and told him, sir, which of your class will I enter? look at how bad my situation is. Where will I start from? And I bought his book. Sir, his book that I bought, Dominate,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
The first story in that book moved me from level 10 to level 50, which was a simple story, but a story of a chicken,
An eagle that thought he was-
eagle that
thought he
fell
was-
that fell into a
Among
poultry farm of the chicken, and an eagle began to behave like a chicken, not knowing that he had an ability of an eagle.
Wow.
I was asking myself, what happened? Why haven't I seen all these things before now? And that was not the end. After I bought that book, I signed up for Next Level Conversations, and I've learned so much from him. So I'm not even begging anybody. But if you want to go to the next level, you need to listen to this man's inner circle. And I truly appreciate him. I'm using this opportunity to appreciate him.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Wonderful.
I'm grateful.
Wonderful.
Really grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm very, very, very grateful. I'm grateful to our audience and our team that made this meeting a success. We appreciate you all the way from Abuja.
Thank you.
To be with us here in Lagos. And for our viewers, in case you want to hear from him again, it should be a special request. So we can bring him all the way from Abuja back. Because of time, we just have to, rush most of the things. We have a lot of content to unpack. At this point, I want to say thank you. Thank you for coming around.
Pleasure so much.
And peace out, everyone. Peace out, everyone. We are very, very grateful. Just keep your questions coming. Whatever you would want us to talk about, definitely we are committed to giving you value. Thank you and God bless you. Peace out. Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.